The second hand, which requires a little less explanation, but I thought it was good to point out for other reasons, was in this hand I'm dealt King Queen, and the first position raised, and I called on the button in a 6-max game. So under the gun raises, the blinds are 5 and 10, and we're looking at stack sizes of about 130 blinds effective. So here's one where my opponent just had absolutely no thought process, and this particular opponent is a winning player, but I can't even comprehend what must have been going through his mind on this particular hand. And it's important, I think, just to point it out, because it's important to really have a plan for what you're trying to do, or to have some sort of like game plan for your hand, and not just kind of like, oh man, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to either play super passive or play super aggressive. So this particular hand, he raised under the gun to 30. I call on the button, and I have King Queen offsuit, and the flop is King Queen Queen. So I flop, other than pocket queens, just the complete nuts. I mean, I've got the board just completely destroyed, and so he checks to me, and I decide just not to slow play, just to bet it right away, because I thought that was a pretty good board for him to continuation bet on. And so I thought he might have been trying to like pot control an ace king, and I really wanted to start getting some value and build that pot right away. Or he might be pot controlling a king jack, or even like pocket tens or pocket jacks. He might just check call and try and represent like a hand that don't try and bluff me off this one, because I've got 2 pair on the flop, and I don't want to like play a big pot, but I'm not going anywhere. And I thought that was kind of the message he might have been wanting to send on the flop by checking, because it was too good of a board to continuation bet when you have a Broadway double paired board like that, or excuse me, paired board like that. So he checks. I bet 45 into $70 pot, and he check raises me to 150. And now I'm like, okay, well, I'm never going anywhere. I'm not giving him credit for pocket kings, and I don't think coming back over the top makes a lot of sense, because I can get my value from, if he does have a hand like ace queen or queen jack or something, I can get my value eventually. I don't need to fast play it. And if he is bluffing, let's encourage him to continue to try. So he check raised me to 150. I just call the 105 more, and the turn is a 10. And there was also no, there was a flush draw on the flop. There was 2 spades and a heart. So the turn was a 10 of hearts. So I kind of liked that card, because I thought maybe he could have like queen 10 occasionally, but also I didn't think that was too super likely. But maybe he could have a hand like ace jack of spades that he decided played real weird. Now he made a straight. So I kind of didn't mind that card. It wasn't like the best card in the world, but I didn't really know what card I was looking for, really. I mean, I was fine with the board kind of staying unchanged as well. So he bets 300 into this, 350 pot, and I decided, if he's got a hand, like, let's not let the board get ugly on him, or make the board have a bunch of spades or 4 to a straight or anything silly like that, in case he does have a real hand like ace queen or something. So I just jammed and put the last 1100 I had left in there, and he just snap called it off. River was a 3, and I see his cards, and he has pocket tens. So he made a full house on the turn, but the real thing that perplexed me is, why would you check raise that flop? It makes no sense. Like, are you trying to turn your hand into a bluff by check raising pocket tens on a king, queen, queen flop? Are you... I can't even comprehend what you're trying to do. You're not really trying to protect your hand, because you don't even know if you're good to start with. I just don't get it. I would bet the flop and fold to a raise, or probably just give up even if called. Or I don't know. I mean, yeah, you got to at least bet the flop. Well, I take that back. You got to at least be willing to put money in on the flop. So I don't mind check calling the flop either. And sometimes what I'll do against real aggressive opponents, I'll take a hand like pocket tens, king, queen, queen, and I'll just check call 3 streets. Because on that type of board, he's only going to want to fire all 3 streets unless he has 3 queens. It's not easy to make 3 queens. So sometimes, even though he's just not going to bet a king for value 3 times, even if an ace comes on the board or a jack, he's very unlikely. Those hands make it a little more complicated because then you can make some straights and stuff. But especially if all low cards come, I mean, I might just check call the whole way against an aggressive opponent, and just I watch him turn up like 5-6 suited so many times it makes you laugh. I mean, I don't, or a small pocket pair like 4s that they just tried to run you over with. I do take that line a lot, and it's pretty good. But anyway, I thought I'd point that one out because it just made no sense to me.